What comes to mind when you think of 70%? If your kid comes home from school with a 70% on their test, you might get them a tutor. If your production line had a 70% yield, you might hire an engineer to fix it. 70% is not a number that inspires pride. 70% is a number that tells us that something is wrong. Unfortunately, 70% is also the average amount of clean water produced by a reverse osmosis unit. Put differently, it is incredibly normal to throw away 30% of the water that we buy. But water's clean and cheap, right? I mean, who cares if we have a little bit of water waste? I mean, many in this room know that there's a deeper problem here. 4 billion people are experiencing water scarcity as a part of their daily lives. And these are happening in regions today where our manufacturing exists. So we have to ask the question, is 70% water recovery really good enough in these regions? Colgate-Palmolive doesn't think so. In fact, they've committed to net zero water use at all of their water stress manufacturing sites by the end of next year. And this isn't, funding projects in far off lands or water credits. This is addressing water waste at the source, a hyper local and community focused approach. And via the 100+ Accelerator, Membrion got the opportunity to partner with them to deploy a simple retrofit to existing facilities to help reduce water waste. And what we demonstrated is that it's possible to reduce water waste by up to 93%. And that's what I'm going to be sharing with you today. We ran a pilot project with Colgate-Palmolive over the course of 4 weeks at their facility in Cambridge, Ohio, to treat the wastewater coming out of a reverse osmosis unit. For those of you who don't know what reverse osmosis or RO is, it's a membrane-based technology where you take high pressure and you push clean water across a membrane, leaving behind salts, minerals, particles, organics, a bunch of junk that you don't want in your water. And during that process, that ends up being the 70% problem because you ultimately just can't push more water out without clogging up the system. Membrion's approach is fundamentally different. We've created a technology called electroceramic desalination, where instead of using high pressure to push water across the membrane, we actually use small amounts of electricity to draw ions out of the water, leaving behind clean and reusable water. In fact, what we demonstrated simply is that if you retrofit a facility with Membrion's technology, you can reduce your wastewater use by up to 93%. And this is exactly what we demonstrated in the pilot project at Colgate's site. Over the course of 4 weeks, we consistently demonstrated that we could recover between 85 to 93% of that wastewater. And those results were really exciting, and they've led to even more exciting commercial discussions on the back end. Membrion's primary business model is to be able to deliver treated wastewater as a service with a performance guarantee, which means that at the end of the day, you don't have to pay upfront capital or installation costs. You can focus on deploying where it matters most. And that's exactly what Colgate was able to do, is instead of thinking about large capital investments, they could focus on where they could make the large impacts. So not only are we reducing water waste by up to 93%, which is an A in most cases, we were grading it. But we are also able to then focus on doing that at scale. That's why today I'm incredibly excited to announce that Membrion and Colgate are working together to treat more than 400 million gallons of wastewater for reuse over the next 3 years at 6 water stress sites globally. I hope others in this room will follow the leadership that Colgate's put forward on this approach. I think most of us know 70% is not good enough. It's a cause for concern, especially in these water-stressed environments. And the great news is that there's a solution. And in fact, that solution is available without massive capital deployments, which allows all of you to focus on massive impact instead. The achieving net zero water ultimately starts with not accepting 70%. Thank you.